So good day, ladies. We are here today to embark on the strange time that we are facing right now. A struggling time, not just in our country, but in the whole world. The global pandemic has shaken our normal lives, and it has caused chaos, distress, anxiety, and fear every tomorrow. It has taken a toll on every one of us, from missing opportunities, being locked for months and months, seeing and hearing unpleasant news about the rising active cases, to losing many lives. It is indeed heartbreaking. Hence, we need to reflect on how one can help in promoting the mitigation of the COVID-19, especially through global society. Before we proceed with our team reflection, I'd like to ask Miss Amance to play the video to further our introspection upon seeing how really bad the crisis is to some of the countries. Miss Amance?
As the world battles the COVID-19 pandemic, there is a split scenario. On one hand, countries like Australia and New Zealand are virtually entirely open, while parts of the US, UK, and Europe are opening up as they increase vaccination rates. But then there's this: India facing a truly devastating second wave of COVID-19. 400,000 cases a day, 3,500 people losing their lives in a day. Heartbreaking photos of mass funeral pyres, grieving family dressed in protective suits, performing last rites for their loved ones. But rewind to February and it was a very different story. The outbreak seemed under control, down 90% from its peak in early 2020. So, what went wrong? Well, early March 2021, cases begin creeping upward. Then the acceleration starts. By the end of March, daily cases are 6 times higher. Experts say this is because people were unprepared. India had recovered so well from the first wave that the country's health minister declared they were, quote, in the endgame of the pandemic. That did not age well. They rolled out their ambitious vaccination program in January, but amidst this, many started relaxing COVID-safe practices. Social distancing no longer the priority, and authorities were no longer strictly enforcing it. But nobody foresaw the massive wave approaching. So where is it happening? New Delhi, India's capital, has been badly hit. The western state of Maharashtra was also devastated, and several other states are recording record daily cases. This wave is affecting more young people, including children, than ever before. Not helping the situation, there appears to be an Indian variant strain developing, according to the country's top epidemiologists, and the crisis was worsened by a slow response from the central government. Now, while some state ministers and local authorities took action in February, there appears to have been a vacuum of leadership at the highest levels. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stayed largely silent in the situation until recent weeks, and some people say he made the situation much more dire. For example, Modi allowed a massive weeks-long Hindu pilgrimage to proceed with millions of attendees travelling across numerous states. Plus, his political party held large rallies for upcoming elections. Obviously not a great idea. PM Modi has since acknowledged the scale of the crisis and is trying to speed up the vaccination program. From May 1, all those who are 18 and older can be vaccinated, and the cost of each dose is dropping too. India is administering 2 vaccines domestically: AstraZeneca, known locally as Covishield, and its own homegrown Covaxin. The critics say the damage has been done. With hundreds of thousands of new cases every day, India needs much more help to contain the outbreak, which makes this a problem for much of the world. Countries are scrambling to send supplies. It's not about locking out people from India, it's about loading up India with supplies and vaccine doses. This global pandemic needs a globally coordinated response. The quicker this situation is controlled, the quicker the world can begin to open up and return to some sense of normality.
Thank you, Miss Amance. As we have seen from the video, an unfortunate mass wave approached India, despite them handling well in the beginning. It's it's an indication that one should always be vigilant in these trying times. And based on the video, the global pandemic needs a globally coordinated response. Thus, global society can play a major role in helping the mitigation of the crisis. And now for our team reflection, I would like to ask first Miss Alinsug to share hers first, followed by Miss Bolos, and then Miss Amance to Miss Cabada. So take it away, Miss Alinsug.
Okay, so good afternoon. As we all know, COVID-19 pandemic is not only a problem of one or two countries. Almost all nations around the world are being challenged. As global citizens, we should not say we should not say something like since the situation in India is bad, then let them solve it. Or since the situation in the Philippines is not getting better, let them handle it. No, as much as we can, we should provide help, a prayer, and raise awareness so that this challenge can be solved together. Let us all remember that the pandemic right now is not only a national problem, it is global, a global crisis, a global health crisis. Thus, let us help each other financially through asking donations or giving our donations, or if not, let's raise our voice through the use of our social media accounts or all other means of communication. Globally, let's make a difference. Thank you.
Yes, that's right, Miss Alinsug. Actually, the happenings in India is a great example for us to mirror, not only for us, but for every country. Many of us no longer believe that COVID is a threat, right? I mean, I myself am one of those people. But given this video that we watched, it is really important to continually follow on the basic protocols of the government, such as wearing masks, face shields, obtaining social distances. Also, it is important to keep in mind that COVID is no joke. It is not to be taken lightly, so all of us should partake in the healing of the world by starting this with ourselves. So, what about your thoughts, Miss uh, Tony?
All right. As what has been mentioned in the video, India is really suffering a great deal because of the COVID-19 pandemic due to the negligence of their authority and the lack of government intervention in imposing health and safety procedures such as social distancing and wearing of face masks. Now, I really get why the people still insist on going back to work, even though there is the hazard of catching the virus, and the reason for that is that they have their families to feed and bills to pay. So the thing that really struck me the most upon watching the video is the part where the narrator mentioned that, quote unquote, the global pandemic needs a globally coordinated response. I am quite reminded of our Filipino practice called bayanihan, wherein people help each other without expecting rewards, and everyone's spirit is of communal unity. This could happen if economically developed countries, or just all countries in general, help those countries that are in need, be it financially, physically, or morally. But nonetheless, let us not be discouraged because there's always a light at the end of every tunnel. Things will settle down eventually if we will all work together in solidarity. Thank you. And in Trisha Cabada's reaction, I will play it for her. Let me present my screen. Hold up. Okay.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. In addition to what you have all said, this is indeed a moment when all nations are united. Because of this common ground, it brought all nations closer together. As I've been watching various news reports about what's going on in India over the last few weeks, I've found that the various countries are pitching into this defensive unit. In that very moment, I came to realize that the global society is responding to this humanitarian crisis. Australia, for example, is currently assisting India and has promised to supply billions of doses of COVID-19 vaccine across Asia with the US and Japan. In addition, Germany dispatched mobile oxygen generation plants to care for COVID-19 Indian patients. As we can see, Occurrences in one part of the world have an effect on the rest of the world. This is how global society functions. We're all in it together, socially aware, and supporting each other. As I already said, Australia and two other countries have agreed to supply billions of doses of COVID-19 vaccines, which I believe is one way to reduce the COVID-19 outbreak. As for us students, the bare minimum we can get through to help our global society is to follow our protocol act. Also, via campaigns, educate others about the pandemic and disseminate accurate information. Lastly, inform our elderly and old that the safest vaccine is the one that is currently available, and that being vaccinated is one of the best ways to avoid contracting or spreading COVID-19. That's how.
So thank you so much, ladies. What amazing ideas and reflections from all of you. And I know that each and one of us has takeaways based on one's reflections, right? So I hope that each and one of us, everyone, will have to strive in promoting the things that we have shared and will be able to help and leave impacts on others as well. So before we conclude this team reflection, I would like to end it with the line based on the video that we have just watched. And it says there that the quicker the situation is controlled, the quicker the world can return some sense of normality. Hence, if we continue to connect, alert, spread these reflections, we would be able to grasp the lights that we have been desiring to see the moment that we were trapped in this tunnel together. Thus, we should always be connected, stay alert, be vigilant, spread awareness, spread factual ideas, and informative, informative and helpful informations. In that way, we would be able to see the lights that we have been desiring to see. So that would be all, and thank you. God bless. So stay safe, wear masks, and wash your hands regularly. Thank you.
Thank you.